Hello, this is Lincoln here, and we are going to go over gun hack of the week. So, the next gun hack we're going to go over is going over and making your own oil solution. This is a way that you can make a stronger oil or you can make a lighter oil. It depends on what climate you're living in, where you are, on basically what you want. So, this is using just motor oils to make your oils. And I use this oil for everything. I use it on my guns. I use it on my press, so I have to lubricate my press. I use it for bluing. I use it for a lot of different things. And I've been pretty happy with it. My gun's been cycling way better. I'm not downing the oils that they have. But a good example, this oil here is a really good oil. I think it's one of the best oils you can buy. Here's the problem. It costs anywhere from $7 to $20 an ounce. In this case, you're making a whole gallon of it, which you're talking about 25, 30 cents a gallon. You pay about 30 bucks. You make a whole gallon of it and you have all the oil you need, and you can keep making more because you can easily go to Walmart, Home Depot, and you can make your own oil mix. So we're going to go over, we're going to get this oil mix made, and we're going to see exactly how it's done, and then we'll do another gun hack next week. Hello, this is Lincoln here from Snakebite Engraving. Today we got something special today, and this is an oil mix that I got online, and this is a mix for, I'll give you pretty much a lifetime supply of oil for your guns. There are three different types of oils that you use for your guns. You have your greases, you have your lubricants, and you have your cleaners. So the greases, I mean, they're used for like bolt action. I've actually used it on the castle nut for the AR, or the barrel nut for the AR. So there's certain things that call for greases. Then you have your cleaners. The cleaners go through and clean out all the oil, the grime, and everything, and cleans up the whole thing so you can lubricate it. This would be classified as a lubrication. And the interesting thing is you can use automotive oil as a cleaner if it's mixed in the right solutions. So generally for this, the mixes are already here. There's no measuring cups, no nothing needed. All you do is mix these together. So the best that I could find is you'd want high performance Mobil 1, and this is 1030 weight. You want to use synthetic, so you want to make sure you use high performance, and you pour it into a milk jug. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to open up our milk jug. It's very important to make sure you do not spill, keep everything as clean as possible. If you have a funnel available, you can use a funnel. All right, so there we go. So we're going to go ahead and pour this. So what I had to do is for this milk jug is you actually want it to dry completely. And generally the best way is after you wash it out, get all the milk out, you go through and just let it dry. It takes about 3 or 4 days for it to just hang upside down and dry. You want as much of the moisture out of it as possible. You don't want any water if you can help it. All right, so there we go. We got almost that completely out. If you have a funnel available, funnels are great. But if you don't, that's okay. You can always go this route. I mean, it's just got to be very easy. Make sure you don't spill anything because you can have a big mess in your hands. So we'll put that right there. We'll get the other one. So this calls for 2 quarts. And the Mobil 1 is going to give the lubrication. It's going to last a long time. One thing I realized is when it comes to car engines and vehicles, the parts in a vehicle are very similar to how firearms work. They get hot, they move, very similar metals. I mean, there's very little differences in that aspect. So we're going to get this quart poured in. And this is going to give all the lubrication you need. The other thing that's important to realize is when you go to one oil, you want to stick with one oil. You want to make sure you clean up all your original oils inside your guns. and lubrications because you want your oils compatible. And a good example is when you do your greases, the grease that you want to mix is Mobil 1 and Mobil 1 grease. Those are the two you want to mix. So that grease will be compatible with this oil. Others I've seen where they actually take transmission fluid, mix with acetone, and maybe denatured alcohol to create a cleaner. And in that case, that would be compatible because you're working with the transmission fluid. Now, for the next solution we're going to add is synthetic transmission fluid. Any transmission fluid will work for this. The transmission fluid is designed to keep it from burning the oil. This is going to burn really hot and really fast, so this is going to keep it lubricated, keep it running good. So we're going to add our transmission fluid to it next. And so the transmission fluid, we're just going to go through. I'm just going to add that to it. And this should have like a yellow solution when it's all done. There we go. And let that run. Like I said, if you have a funnel, it's a whole lot easier to use a funnel, but I didn't get a funnel, so this is how I'm doing it. But so far, no spills, no harms, no fouls. All right, so that's 3 ounces I just put into a 1 gallon. Now we have to add our oil treatment. So this is gonna help with the wear of the oil. It's gonna keep it running good. It's gonna keep it running smooth and efficient when you run it through your guns. So I'm just gonna go through and pull that out. Okay, there we go. So this is going to give that lubrication that the oil needs to keep it running good. And it costs about $35 for all this. So you are spending a little bit of money to get what you need. But considering what it costs for a little vial oil or 1 ounce oil, you're talking about $10, $15 for one little vial. And in here, you have a lot of little ounces. I mean, you're talking close to 40, 50 ounces here. And that's a lot of oil that you can run, and you can just keep on making more and more and more. And that's about how much oil I have total and how much I have made total, because I do all my own oils, I do all my own mixes, and I kind of prefer it that way. It's just something I look at as, I like making my own stuff. I like everything I have homemade and made to my own specs. One thing that's really nice is you can create your oil for different temperatures. And what I mean by that is you could actually make 2 separate gallons. One would be your summertime oil and one would be your wintertime oil. And what I mean by that is when you go through and you want your heavier weights, you have your weight oil, you would actually have a heavier weight oil for winter time or for summertime. So that way, if you have a lot more burning during the summer than you would during the winter. And during the winter, you don't need a heavier weight, so you could use a lighter weight oil. So instead of 1030, you could use 1040. Or you could do 1020 and 1030 or 1030 or 1040, whatever you prefer. And just a little bit heavier weight oil, which has a little bit less burning time on it. So that way you can gauge how you do your oils and you can mark them in, label them. So next thing you want to use is Hopper. Hopper is like one of the best lubricants for firearms. So you're going to add a whole bottle of Hopper to this. And I've been using Hopper for years and years and years. I actually remember using this on my BB guns when I was a kid. And it's about done here. There we go. So right there we have ourselves a homemade oil. Now there's one more thing that you have to do is Pretty simple. You just got to close it up, give it a little shake, and there we go. You have yourself a 1 gallon container of gun oil. I'll probably be using this for the rest of my life. I have probably no reason to go and buy any more gun oil for any other reason. This is going to be good and efficient. Some would say, so I went and looked up online, some would say this is like really good, this is really good stuff, there's no reason to do anything else. It does work good for your internal parts. It will work good for all your guns. But it's also important to understand your guns do have a lot of wear on them. So during the winter time and you're doing a lot of moistures, you may want to have like an outside gun oil for preventing rust from happening or that kind of thing. But this should do everything that needs to do for keeping my guns lubricated. So be safe, be happy, and shoot safe. And just so you know, I am not consistent on doing anything illegal. I'm saying completely legal. I like to follow the law to the best of my ability. And so make sure you stay within the laws when you do anything. When it comes to oils, there really isn't anything that says what you can and cannot do. I have heard of people using power steering fluid. I've heard of people using brake fluid. I mean, it's a preference. If you're going to use them, do your research. Make sure what you're using is safe for your firearms.